Peace and blessings, everyone. It's me, Coach 67 Sports TV. Shout out to the amazing LDBC, Lions Den Boxing community. Before we go any further, like the video, share the video, follow me on all social media platforms, on YouTube, on Instagram, on Twitter, and on TikTok. All right, this particular video is not a boxing video, but it's about my favorite team in the land, the university I'm alumni of, Southern University, the Mighty Jaguars. This is what this particular video about. Tomorrow, Southern University plays against the Arkansas Pine Bluff Golden Lions. In their second SWAC game, Southern is coming off a bye week. Just to kind of give you a brief recap of the season thus far. First game of the season, Southern University played at home against Florida Memorial. They won 86 to nothing. That game, I knew going into it, it wasn't going to really give you a gauge of how good Southern is or how good Southern could be. The next game, the following week, they played in a similar type game, except it was going in the opposite direction. They played against crosstown team, the flagship team of the state, the Louisiana State Tigers, LSU. LSU beat Southern 65 to 17. Then thereafter, Southern played against Texas Southern week before last, and they lost 24 to nothing in their SWAC opener. So tomorrow, Southern, they're coming off their bye week. They're gonna play against UAPB at home. What am I expecting from the game? Hopefully, Southern wins. The things that they're gonna need to correct going into the game against UAPB. Against Pine Bluff, the thing that Southern gonna need to do. First, in my opinion, I know Coach Eric Dooley in the Texas Southern game, he really was adamant about sticking with Bashawn McCray. But at this juncture, at this point, I don't think Bashawn McCray gives Southern University the best chance to win. I think they need to go in a different direction. Glenda Bubba McDaniel, he's a graduate student. He's a redshirt senior. I think he gives Southern the best chance to win. He was the starter for most of the year last year. He was kind of feast or famine. Last year against Arkansas State, he was tremendous and spectacular. I think he was the primary reason they won that particular game at home. And then following that game, they played against Prairie View, and he was pedestrian in that game. He didn't play well. I'm not saying Bashawn McCray can't be a good quarterback down the line. However, in the here and now, in the present, I think Glenda Bubba McDaniel gives Southern University the best chance and the best opportunity to win. As a result, I think Coach Eric Dooley should go with Glenda Bubba McDaniel as a starting quarterback. It kind of remains to be seen. It kind of remains to be seen what direction Coach Dooley is going to go in. More than likely, he's probably going to stick with Bashawn McCray because he named him as his starter. But I think in terms of the here and now, Glenda Bubba McDaniel gives Southern University the best chance and the best opportunity to win because he's an experienced quarterback. And like I said, he was the starting quarterback for most of the season last year. And in addition to that, Bashawn McCray, he is a glorified running back. As a quarterback, he cannot go through his entire progression. He only can read one side of the field. There was up to this point in the season, there were certain points in each game where he would drop back and he would only read one side of the field. He can't get beyond his second progression. So he would drop back. If his first read or his second read isn't open, he just takes off and he runs. So at this point, he's just like a glorified running back playing quarterback. I'm not saying he can't develop into a much better quarterback, but at this juncture, he's not the guy. He's not ready yet. And I think also to kind of cure all that ails Southern on the offensive side, I think they need to have a heavy dosage of Gerard Sims running the ball. So I think they got to lean on their running game and go with the experienced quarterback. On the defensive side of the ball, the defense has been pretty bad. Uh, really can't gauge how good the defense is against LSU because they play way up in competition. However, against Texas Southern, Andrew Body, he pretty much had his way with Southern. Southern defense looked pretty bad. Texas Southern got the ball. They literally went straight down the field and scored on the opening possession. And they pretty much, torched Southern the entire game. So the defense needs to play much better. In addition to the defense playing much better, like I said, on the offensive side, I think it'll be better and more beneficial if Eric Dooley just gave Sean McCray the hook and went McGlenn to Bubba McDaniel. Now, in terms of Coach Dooley, of course, he has some security. He has a nice deal with Southern. He's a disciple of Pete Richardson. He coached under legendary SWAC coach Pete Richardson. And I think because of that, he's going to have some security as Southern's coach. But it's already, like Southern's 1-2, going into the fourth game of the year. Members of Jaguar Nation are already getting restless. Certain individuals, they already clamoring for like, hey, he needs to do this, he needs to do that. I think it's too early to pull a plug on Coach Dooley. However, I think it'd be in his best interest if he just went with Glenn Bubba McDaniel as starting quarterback because, like I said, he gives Southern the best chance and the best opportunity to win. So, I mean, that's just my take on that aspect of it. But, going into the year, I wasn't sold on Coach Dooley being the savior, the answer, the cure-all to everything that ailed Southern football program. I know he did a good job at Prairie View. Like I said, again, he coached under Pete Richardson. He coached at Grambling. So he's definitely a swag lifer in terms of being a coach. So, a lot of fans, with the endorsement of Coach Richardson, a lot of fans were sold on Coach Dooley. And I think one of his selling points is the fact that he's a good recruiter. So you kind of have to give him time for him to bring in, his recruits. A lot of guys that's on the team now, they basically are Dawson Odom recruits. So it's going to take him at least a few years to get his players that kind of fit into his system, into the program. But even with that being said, he still had, still had and has some pretty good players left over from Dawson Odom regime. And those players should be enough to get him over the hump. And I think there's a distinct difference in between being a coach under Coach Richardson that has Coach Richardson's endorsement and actually being Pete Richardson. So at this point, it's clear that he's not Pete Richardson. So, I was never sold on him being an answer and a cure-all. But I'm not willing and ready to just throw him aside yet. It just kind of remains to be seen how he's going to transform the program for better or for worse. I think it was unfair, some of the criticism Coach Odom's got while he was at Southern. Jason Rollins was never the answer. Last year's the interim head coach. So it just kind of remains to be seen. It's interesting how things is going to unfold during the course of the next few years in terms of under Coach Dooley. Like I said, it came down to in terms of who Southern was going to hire to be the next head coach. It was a lot of names floating around, whether it was Ray Lewis, whether it was Marshall Falk, whether it was Ed Reed. But from what I understand, it came down to Coach Eric Dooley and Coach Kevin Sumlin, former University of Texas and Texas A&M head football coach. Certain individuals really didn't want Coach Kevin Sumlin because evidently from what I hear, I don't know how truthful it is, but his personality could be somewhat abrasive and rub people the wrong way. And in addition to that, many people thought he was just going to use the job at Southern as a stepping stone to his next major Power 5 job. So, who knows how truthful all of these rumors are, but they went with Coach Dooley. Coach Richardson really endorsed Coach Dooley. So at this point, we just kind of have to stick with him I think it's too early to say that he's done a terrible job thus far. But I think the key to any real good football team, especially in the SWAC, is just having a bedrock quarterback. And, over the years, you had guys like Eric Randall and Quincy Richard. They did an excellent job as a starting quarterback. And I think Coach Julie's success is going to depend on, who the signal caller is going to be. And I think at this point, Glenda Bubba McDaniel gives them the best chance and the best opportunity to be successful at that particular position. And just overall as a team, the defense has to improve. They have to rely heavily on the running game, I think, also with Gerard Sims and all the other running backs. So it just kind of remains to be seen. Hopefully Southern can get a win tomorrow. I'm hoping on it and counting on it. Until the next time, this is Coach 67 Sports TV. Again, shout out to the amazing LDBC Langston Boxing community. Again, like the video, share the video, follow me on all social media platforms, here on YouTube, on Instagram, on Twitter, on TikTok. Have a blessed, phenomenal evening. Peace and blessings.